Did you know that February has only 29 days this year? This is because 2024 is a leap year. Now you know. This program is packed with information. Welcome to NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime. I am Eugenia Abu. Don't go away.
Any vessel operating coastal voyage in Nigeria must mandatorily have on board the following: vessel logbook, vessel port of call, vessel particulars, which include registry certificates, safety equipment certificates such as safe manning certificates, builder certificates, load line certificates, tonnage certificates, radio certificate, insurance certificates, classification certificates, passenger ship safety certificate, service certificate, cargo ship certificate, and waiver certificates or receipts. Vessel owners, captains, shipping agents, and members of the public are advised to note and comply.
NIMASA This Week, as usual, brings you DG's diary on the activities of Dr. Bashir Jamo, and also gives you information on maritime facts and maritime nuggets. Stay with us.
On the DG's diary today, we shall serve you a report of the meeting the NIMASA DG, Dr. Bashir Jamo, had with the President General of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Comrade Adewale Adeyanju, who is also the Vice President of the Nigerian Labour Congress. During the meeting, the NIMASA helmsman noted the need for industrial harmony in the Nigerian maritime sector and commended the union leadership for embracing dialogue in negotiations with the agency. They also discussed issues bordering on the well-being of seafarers.
We lead others follow in all ramifications. In all ramifications, we must lead and others when it comes to the maritime, we have to speak with one voice. And not only in Nigeria, but in Africa. We look at our vision. It's going to be a lead in maritime. Make sure that this is and my style is that I don't like taking things for a long period of time. You have to keep timeline. It's our own duty, it's our own duty, it's the contributor's duty to put a time frame within which we can achieve this.
That's why the secretariat, the decent to give you the office is no longer an admin office. It's not a modern office. And we would like you to come and place after the commission of the building professions that is ongoing as a secretariat. Please, we would like you to come and do some profession so that you all will know that the measure to understand.
The Maritime Media Group, publishers of Nigeria's flagship maritime journal, Shipping World, and organizers of the annual Maritime Industry Merit Awards, MIMA, invite maritime stakeholders and captains of industry to the investiture ceremony of Dr. Bashir Yusuf Jamo, OFR, Director General, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, as Maritime Man of the Year 2023. Chairman of this epoch-making event is the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, His Excellency Senator Uba Sani, while the Royal Father of the Day is His Eminence Alhaji Ahmed Bamali, CFR, Emir of Zazao Emirate. The event, scheduled for Wednesday, February 28th at Eco Hotel and Suite, would have the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Chief Adeboyega Oyetola, as special guest of honor, while Prince Olayiwola Shitu, Chairman of Scholars Group, is the chief host. Announcer Elder Asubex, CEO, Maritime Media Group.
The objective of the Cabotage Act 2003 is primarily to reserve commercial transportation of goods and services within Nigerian coastal and inland waters to vessels built in Nigeria, flying the Nigerian flag, crewed by Nigerians, and owned by persons of Nigerian citizenship. To ensure a more effective implementation of the regime in Nigeria, the management of NIMASA had worked closely with the 9th National Assembly to review and amend the Act so that the Nigerian cabotage regime can truly serve the interest of Nigerians. The NIMASA DG Dr. Jamo, during a retreat organized by the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, noted the need for a presidential assent on the bill reviewing the Cabotage Act.
We have already made presentation to the National Assembly for the amendments of those certain sections of this Cabotage Act, and presently is with the presidency for accent. I will meet the Honorable Minister or Permanent Secretary for us to trace that document, because that document was transmitted to the presidency during the 9th Assembly, and now it's getting restored so long so that we can produce that legislation for the presidential accent, so that we can have the full implementations of those areas that is being amended in the original act.
Dr. Jamo also noted that a disagreement between the primary lending institutions and NIMASA over interest rate is the reason for the delay in disbursing the CVFF funds.
We have got stuck in negotiations of the percentage of interest in terms of repayment of the CVFF loan between the agency and the primary lending institutions. Where we stopped, we are saying that 6.5% and they are saying 7.5%. There was a gap between the agency and the primary lending institutions of 1%. I believe by now we will have closed the gap, so we will give a kind of summary to the Honorable Minister and then to seek for approval for us to proceed where we are.
Our guest this week on this segment is the President General of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Comrade Adewale Adeyanju. We began by asking him his candid impression of the current NIMASA management.
The DG NIMASA, Dr. Basiru Jamo, is a wonderful leader, a proactive leader, a man of integrity, a man of talk na do. And it'd be good of me if I did not come and say good afternoon or good evening for good job the man has been doing on behalf of maritime stakeholders. So the Union Maritime Workers of Nigeria are proud of his success. We are proud of his proactiveness on an issues that has to border on industrial crisis. You always see him there trying to offer solutions to problem. A man, when he hear ultimatum, he will not sleep over it, and he believe ultimatum it can bring in what we call crisis or work stoppage in the port. He always gets across to us and say, PG, let us sit down and dialogue on behalf of the government. So he's a man that we cannot deny of coming to say thank you for what he's doing.
We also took him up on the issue of a recreational center for seafarers in Nigeria.
It has to do with International Transport Workers Federation in England, an affiliate that Maritime Workers of Nigeria are part of, and they are trying to give us a project here in Nigeria. We call it Maritime Seafarers Recreation Center, and being the master regulating agency managing the maritime the seafarers, the dock workers, and we need to let him know of these visitations because the people are already in Nigeria. About 6 members of ITF, they're already in Nigeria. So they are coming to pay courtesy visit to the DG NIMASA. So we're trying to let him know about this project. And being a man of vision, a man who has vision for seafarers, a man who believes whatever he does today is going to be on record for tomorrow. He has already keyed into it and he has given an assurance that he's going to be around to say 1 or 2 things before the people that are coming on behalf of this project.
Having noticed industrial harmony in the maritime sector in recent years, we asked Comrade Adeyanju, what is the magic?
The magic is from God, because if God is with you, you have everything. And it has to do with transformations that will transform ourselves, because the era of banking table, the era of crisis, the era of violence is no longer in the book of Maritime Workers of Nigeria, because we lost so many credibilities as a result of fighting when we don't gain anything from it. But because of training, retraining, and training, we travel far away and we see how other countries are behaving. So unionism is not scientific. It's no longer digital unionism where everybody believes in removing the shoes of their leaders. But today we can be in your room and start practicing unionism. So we have to give glory to Almighty God who have given us these transformations, and we continue to build on it. We continue to tell the whole world that the Maritime Workers of Nigeria can compare with any other union all over the world. So we thank the stakeholders too who believe in what we are doing, because of the training they are training our members, the training they are giving the workers, the training they are giving our members. So DG NIMASA too have extended training to seafarers, extended training to dock workers across the board. So it is helping. That idea of training is helping us. That is why we can see that everybody can sleep with their 2 eyes closed.
The last question the NLC Vice President addressed was to compare the lot of dock workers in Nigeria to that of their contemporaries in other countries.
Well, the dock workers today, unlike before, there's nothing like a minimum standard. They don't have condition of service. They were just being used as a casual. But today, under the leadership of DG NIMASA, we're able to have what we call minimum standard for dock workers in the industry. That is NGIC, midwife by NIMASA, witnessed by Nigeria Port Authority and the terminal operator. So now, the way it is now, if you look at other African countries, they were even asking how are we managing the dock workers in Nigeria. So we have to send some of our booklets to other African countries where they were trying to say, okay, can't they adopt what the Maritime Workers of Nigeria have done in Nigeria here in their own country. So it's to tell you that we have gone far above other countries. So the remuneration might not be as everybody expected, but we have laid a standard in the industry where dock workers living tomorrow, they are not living with an empty hand. Unlike what it was before, if they are pensionable, their gratuity, their terminal benefit. So the glory go to DG NIMASA and all the stakeholders who came to this collective bargaining agreement between the workers and that of the terminal operators and other relevant stakeholders within the industry.
My name is Chief Dr. George Moralo.
Senator Binta Masi Garba.
This is Rollins McFoy, the President of Women in Maritime Nigeria.
You are watching NIMASA This Week.
You are watching NIMASA This Week.
NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime.
The voice of maritime.
The voice of the maritime industry.
The voice of the maritime.
NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
The 18th edition of the National Council on Transportation took place in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. And the leadership of the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy were on hand. They spent time looking at how the maritime industry can contribute effectively and efficiently to the growing transport sector in Nigeria.
The 18th National Council on Transportation took place from 13th to 16th February in Abeokuta, Ogun State, with the theme, Embracing Innovations and Technologies for Sustainable Transportation, Tackling the Energy Challenges. The Honorable Minister of Transportation, Senator Said Alkali, is the chairman of the council.
This meeting is convened to consider issues of significant importance to the transportation sector with a view to aligning the sector with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. This year's theme, Embracing Innovation and Technology for Sustainable Transportation, Tackling the Challenges, serve as a clarion call to embrace innovation, solution to mitigate the energy challenges faced by our nation. The outcome of our deliberation at this council must chart the way forward for government and all stakeholders to work harmoniously to deliver better, improved transportation system for the country.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the 18th National Council on Transportation, being held here in Abeokuta, the capital of Ogun State, the gateway state, the industrial capital of Nigeria. The theme of this 18th National Council meeting, Embracing Innovations and Technologies for Sustainable Transportation, Tackling the Energy Challenges, is clearly indicative that the sector is fully cognizant of current challenges, realities, and limitations, and ready to proffer sustainable solutions. As a littoral state with a stretch of coastline along the Bight of Benin, an integral part of our transportation master plan is the Olokola Deep Sea Port project. Our administration is determined to take advantage of the unique draft at Olokola, and we are working assiduously to ensure the resuscitation of the project.
At the end of the council meeting, the Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, NIMASA, Jibril Abba, in his review, noted that the agency is already on the right direction as regards embracing innovations and digitalization.
Basically, the theme of the event had to do with embracing innovation and technology for sustainable transportation. I would say that the importance of embracing technology and innovation cannot be overemphasized. And this is because of the role it plays. It's actually very pivotal in the transportation of goods and services, which is considered paramount in the maritime industry. For NIMASA, NIMASA has actually played a very active role in that aspect. We have been able to acquire several technology platforms, such as the C4I, as well as other platforms that have to do with regulating and regulating the maritime environment. Quite a few things. There were some presentations that were made with regards to how to make the transportation sector more effective and more efficient. And we actually did have presenters that spoke about deploying different kinds of technology.
Yes, NIMASA, we are in the process of making our operation digital so that we will be able to do a single point of clearance. We want a situation where the ship that is coming or leaving our port will come on time and not waste time. Through this innovation and technologies, we will reduce. And NIMASA is ready to support that process to make sure that we help Nigeria, make sure that our image, doing business in our port, is cheaper and at a very quick rate.
At this meeting, we are going to consider the current challenges that we face in the transport sector in our country across the length and breadth of Nigeria, north, east, south, and west. and then come up with ideas, policies, and plans to address them in the immediate, in the medium term, and in the long term. The major challenges we are facing in the transport sector across our country include affordability, safety, security, connectivity, mobility, and accessibility. And these are the themes that will be addressed at this meeting, this conference. And the idea is to look at how technology can be deployed to address some of these issues.
Now, this brings us to ship recycling. So what's ship recycling? Of course, in a very simple language, it is a process on which a ship that has attained the end of its useful life on water is brought for breaking. I mean, it's a process by which you can dispose of ships that are no longer functional or meant for the purpose for which they were designed for. It could be as a result of old age. It could be as a result of injuries sustained while on operations. So once it is no longer deemed economical for passage, then the next thing is, what do we do with this ship? You could, of course, in some other places, you could sink such a ship for what we call artificial reefs, depending on your motive as a nation. But for economic reasons, of course, it's not a total waste. It is usually brought to facilities like this to be broken into pieces. And ours, as a safety agency, as Maritime Administration, saddled with responsibility of ensuring that the marine environment is protected, that the safety of people on board that works on that ship are protected, that the laborers that you employ to carry out this job are protected, of course. Ours is purely regulation.
As far as we are concerned, once we get what they can put on the table, we should be able to plan ourselves and put the balance to make sure that we complete the project that before us.
So we came here this week with several reasons, several agendas. One was to be present to show our commitment to the grant that was already approved. It was absolutely committed. We have full faith in the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria under the excellent leadership of the
We are also responsible for the maritime labor in the industry. So on this note, we will say that you're most welcome.
Self-discipline is one of the attributes of integrity, refraining from corrupt practices, even in the face of discomfort. We have honesty as the attribute of integrity, quality of being truthful and straightforward.
Introducing the NIMASA Distress Response Call Lines for all maritime stakeholders, ship owners, seafarers, ship captains. Whatever your challenge or distress in the Nigerian maritime domain, please call 0803 0685 167 0708 0005 956, 0700 0700 010. If you can't reach us on these lines, please call 0700 0700 020, 0700 0700 030. Also via VHF Radio Channel 16. Call and NIMASA will respond.
What are you anchored on this week? I am anchored on technology. Take a look at how technology is working in the maritime industry. Technology is used for managing ecosystems and preserving it, and also for monitoring. Well, that's a wrap on this edition of NIMASA This Week. Until next week when we come your way again, on behalf of the entire team, I am Eugenia Abu. Stay well.